Okay, today we're working on the rear damper radius arms and A-frame. But before we jump into that, I had a unrecorded session 2 days ago where my wife kind of helped me a little bit, but I was trying to remove the seat with the bolt that I had screwed up in the previous session. Um, if you recall, the bolt was just kind of turning and I couldn't get to it from above. I couldn't take it out from below. So I ended up trying to, well, at first I tried to remove it nicely, try to see if I can sort of wedge it and then unscrew it, but no such luck there. So I tried to drill it out. It started working, but it was taking a really long time. So I ended up just taking an angle grinder to the bolt on the bottom of the car. Did it slowly because I didn't want to cut any of the other metal on the car. But after a few minutes, I got the bolt head off. And when I pulled the seat up, I looked underneath, and sure enough, I had sheared off the nutsert that was in the rail. This is a little nut that's welded to the rail that the bolt is supposed to thread into. So when I was turning the bolt, I had twisted it enough and the welding broke off essentially. So I do have to get a new rail, which means I can't install the seats in yet. But that might be good. I might want to wait for the seats until the very end. So anyways, today I moved on to trying to do more of the rear suspension so I can start doing the brake bleeding sometime later this week. So first, my sleeve bearing came in the mail today. My dealer, Rich from Campino Motors, sent it over really quick when he found out that I was missing a piece. Um, so that allowed me to finish up the driver's side rear damper, get that bolted in, torqued in. Um, Very straightforward. Next was the radius arms. So the radius arms attached to the frame, there are two options to um, attach them to on the frame. One is a little bit higher, the other is lower. The higher one is for S-Pack kits. The lower is for R-Pack kits as well as Academy cars. So I did the lower one. Um, and then on the back, it attaches the bushing goes between these two. There's like a spot on the DDon where there's sort of two brackets, and then the bushing fits between them. Um, that part is the tolerance is pretty tight. I used my rubber mallet to sort of whack it in, um, and then you just bolt it in with washers. So for all of these washers, I did the same. The chamfer side going towards the bushing. Also, for this part, there are three bolts that are the same threading and thread pitch. One of them is longer. The longer one goes for the A-frame. The two slightly shorter ones go on the radius arms. Pay attention to this because I had to undo one of my radius arms because I used the wrong bolt. Let's see. For all of this today, I copper slipped all the bolts because I figured these are all sort of moving suspension parts and it won't really hurt to add a little bit of copper slip to them. So once the radius arms were done, I moved on to the A-frame. Well, actually, and this is a mistake I made, it's not a big one, but don't torque the radius arms. Wait until the suspension is all done because what happened to me was I for the rear suspension, you kind of need to have the car resting on the suspension before you torque it up. So I jacked up the car, moved the jack stands under the Dion tube, and then let it rest on there. I torqued up the radius arms. I jacked the car back up, moved the jack stands back onto the frame that I had on before, because when they were on the Dion, the car was a little wiggly when I was trying to wrench. And then I did the A-frame and I realized I have to do that again for the A-frame before I torque it up. So just wait for everything to be done and then jack up the car once, torque it up. Anyways, the A-frame, it's a little bit confusing. At first, looking at the manual, I thought I was supposed to use spacers in the back where the A-frame attaches to the Dion tube. That's not the case. In the back, it's just two nylon washers, one on each side of the Dion tube, and then the A-frame brackets fit on each side of that. Now you'll need a socket that's where the wall isn't too thick, because the bolt that goes through there and the nut on the other side, they go into a pocket in the A-frame. Uh, I don't really know what to call it, in the A-frame, essentially. So you kind of need sockets that will fit into the hole in order to tighten that bolt and nut. But that's pretty straightforward. The spacing with the washers actually goes on the front two sides of the A-frame, some on the driver's side, some on the passenger side. So the goal is to make it such that the Dion tube protrusion on both the driver and passenger side is about the same distance to the chassis. I've read other blogs that say you use 4 washers on the driver's side, 3 on the passenger side. So I initially tried that, but I could not get the 3 washers on the passenger side. I could only fit 2. So once I did that, I measured and it was pretty off center. So I took out 1 washer from the driver's side. I ended up with 3 washers on the driver's side, 2 washers on the passenger side, and that looked pretty good distance-wise. It was about 3.5 inches from the end of the Dion tube to the chassis on both sides. I asked my dealer about it because I was concerned that I had about one more washer width that I originally could fit. He said my configuration would be just fine, but if I do want to make it more balanced, I could probably use some of the thinner washers to sort of fill out the gaps on both sides. So I may do that next time. I'm not too sure. It'll probably be okay if I don't, but next time I will have to torque the A-frame back up and then move on to the Dion ears and the brakes and all of that stuff.